Welcome to Mirchi's Leaders and Legends. You're with your host, Steve Rao, and we are here today with the Triangle Region's largest South Asian radio station, also aired in Philadelphia and Baltimore. And today I'm honored to have a colleague of mine. He's a member of my team in the town of Morrisville, Rodney Wadkins, who's actually in the IT division leading our census efforts. He's worn a number of hats in Morrisville. Rodney, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve.
So Rodney, at the request of many of our listeners, we are bringing you on today to just give us an update on the census. First of all, I hope you and your family are safe during COVID-19, and we want to thank you and Martha Page and the staff and the administration for doing everything you can to work during these circumstances. And the government in Morrisville continues to function and function well. But I hope you're safe and doing okay.
My family is safe. We are doing great. And I certainly appreciate the opportunity that Morrisville has given us to work from home. It's been a good way to keep up with all the work that we have going on.
Okay, great. Well, so first of all, this is this radio broadcast is also going to be shown as a video. And so just a disclaimer, the picture in the background that you'll see is pre-social distancing. Those are my colleagues shortly after the swearing in December, but I wanted to just do that disclaimer to protect them in case they think that we took this picture. First of all, Rodney, I wanted to just, for a refresher, let's talk quickly about the census, and then we're going to dive in about just the changes of deadlines, a lot of focus on the COVID pandemic, and we still have a very important census, but why do we have a census? Tell us what it's about, and how often do we have one, and why is it important?
Well, the census is important because it is mandated by the Constitution. The Constitution mandates that a population count occur every 10 years. So we have a count. It's a population of the U.S., all 50 states, and 5 U.S. territories. That's the biggest thing. It's mandated by the Constitution, and it happens every 10 years. What it is, and why do we have one?
Yeah.
Why do we have one? The 2020 census, as you know, our population grows, and what the census does is it's a population count. It provides a snapshot of our nation, who we are, where we live, and so much more. It shows where populations move, where groups move, anything dealing with any population. That we also have one, and I alluded to this a little bit. It provides critical data to lawmakers, business owners, teachers, and many others that provide daily services, products, and support for your community. The population numbers determine, those folks use those numbers to determine where they should locate hospitals, schools, their businesses, where particular entertainment facilities should go or recreational facilities should go. In addition to that, the count, billions of dollars provided by the federal government is based on those population counts, and it determines hospitals, fire departments, schools, roads, and other resources, and it's based on that census data that is conducted, the count that's conducted.
Okay, I mean, and so now I just had a tweet that came in. What is it? First of all, do I have to be a citizen? Because we have a lot of the immigrants. We have 30% South Asian population in Morrisville, large in the Triangle. Do I have to be a citizen for my participation to count?
You do not need to be a citizen, no. Again, it is a population count. It is a snapshot in time of households that live in a particular area. So you do not have to be a citizen to be counted in the 2020 census.
Okay. Now, a couple more questions before we get into just the efforts and sort of there's just still a lot of confusion out there. Not confusion, but I think there hasn't been as much attention from the county on the census because of obviously COVID-19. So it's about $800 billion of federal money at stake, and you pretty much laid it out. It's important because of schools, hospitals, infrastructure, also congressional representation, legislative districts. All of these things are going to be dependent on our population count. Now, in Morrisville, we did one a few years ago. That was a special census, right? And that is sort of the same thing. And based on that, we got additional money from the federal government.
That's
Because our
correct.
population was higher than we.
Right. Any kind of, oftentimes the money is funneled to the states, and then it's then funneled down to the communities through the state program. So any kind of funding that is per capita based or population based that comes to Morrisville is affected by our count. So it's critical that we have that accurate count for Morrisville, for Wake County, as well as the state.
Okay. Okay. That's really good to know. So I think that is something that, we need to continue to educate people about. Now, here's a question that's important. People get concerned, especially Attorney General Stein's been warning everyone of scams, security breaches, lots of concerns about confidentiality. How do I know that the information, if somebody comes in and is knocking on my door for the census, how do I know what I'm giving them is confidential?
All of those, there is a federal law. It's Title 13 of the U.S. Code, which is very clear, protects the confidentiality of any data that is collected via the census. And all of this data that is collected is protected from everyone, including law enforcement, including the president, doesn't see the detail that is collected. The Census Bureau goes through a process to make sure that there is not a way to determine specifics when people are looking at the data on the census.org webpage, census.gov webpage. So it is protected via Title 13, and any of the enumerators or any staff, such as myself, that deals with the census data on a regular basis, swear an oath. We sign papers. We have to send it to the Census Bureau, protecting the confidentiality of the data that's collected. So there are a lot of measures in place at the Census Bureau. They take it very seriously that this data is protected and confidential.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a great answer. Now, in terms of the filling out of the form, we get something in the mail with our code that we put in, so you can do it online. If you miss the online deadline, what do you do? Are we going to get the ballot in the mail?
There are, by now, everyone had received, every household has received a invitation to participate in the census. And the initial invitation went out and encouraged folks to fill out their census form online. And the online census form is about 10 questions. And you go to 2020census.gov and hit the respond button. And it's a protected website, again, the confidentiality. So entering your data is safe and convenient. So you hit the button respond, you fill in your unique number that you received in the mail from the Census Bureau. And you take about 10 minutes and complete the form online. That is continuing. You technically haven't missed the opportunity to fill out or complete your census form online. Due to COVID-19, the Census Bureau has extended the opportunity for folks to fill out their online form to October 31st of this year. So it has been extended. We, as staff with Morrisville, have encouraged folks to complete their census form online because it is quick, it is easy. And the biggest thing is it will eliminate the need for an enumerator or an actual person to come knocking on your door. Because that
okay, so you haven't, so just to, okay, so to reiterate for our listeners then, the deadline for the online census form is October 31st, right? If somebody can't find their form, or can they get another one mailed to them, or if they, or do they just have to wait until they get someone to knock on their door?
You can go on to 2020census.gov and start the respond. And if you don't have your unique identifier, you can input your address. You input your address, you'll be able to start the process also.
Okay. So 2020census.gov. And what efforts are underway right now in Wake County? There was, I mean, that's where there's confusion, because you had Census Day, and then there was all these deadlines in March and April, and then everything got pushed out. So are there any other major deadlines people need to be looking at until the census? I mean, the big one you gave is October 31st. So if you're listening and you receive that form, please fill it out, because I know that I got an email from town of Morrisville that our participation rates aren't the greatest right now, but that's not only us, it's all around the county, right? So in order to lift that up, we just got to get as many people out there to remember to go in and complete the form by the 31st.
Morrisville is doing okay. There are some other jurisdictions that have a higher response rate, and we're all working together to come up with ideas. Wake County has established a complete count committee where there's staff representatives from each of the jurisdictions in Wake County. So we coordinate and collaborate and come up with ideas. So we have some friendly competitions amongst some of the jurisdictions. But certainly our response rate could be improved. And one of those ways we were doing that is Morrisville sent out a postcard to each household, each residential household in Morrisville, just encouraging folks, kind of highlighting many of the things we're talking about now, but in a much more compact form, just encouraging folks it's safe and secure and confidential, and respond online. And again, the big thing is, by responding online or filling out the paper form, you can avoid having a census worker come knocking on your door, because there will be a non-response follow-up that will start in August of 2020, based on the current census language. It'll start, the actual numerators, people going door to door knocking, will start in August.
August, okay. So they'll knock on your door and they'll have they'll getting your information, and they'll have their census badge or whatever. So when is it all over? When is the whole thing done now for the census?
So it would be October 31st. It would be the last time opportunity for people to respond. And again, that's based on the current Census Bureau information. That is fluid. It could change, but right now everything is scheduled to end October 31st of this year. Okay.
I mean, this has been, and so Wake County, if there's any questions you have on Wake County's site, you can go to just wakegov.com/census, right? Is that the website if they want to learn about the committee and getting involved, those kinds of things?
Yes, if you go to WakeGov, Wake County government webpage, they have a census link at the top. We also have a hashtag Morrisville Counts social media link. We also have a hashtag 2020 census social media link that you can have access to and keep track of any of the social media, the tweets, or Facebook or Instagram.
Well, I think this is, yeah. And also for those of you listening, he's one of my best friends, but he's also a colleague, Councilmember Garamella. He's heading up our international subcommittee. And, you know, there were so many Asian events that have been canceled now. And he was working with me to get the message out. But if you want to be involved from the international community, just reach out to Councilmember Garamella. He's on our website, or me. And I'm going to be bringing him on the show, but I told him I'd be bringing on Rodney, and he doesn't like radio so much anyway. So, but you know, it's just that there's been so many events that are canceled, and this is the challenge. How are we going to get the word out when everything's virtual? we're not getting the reminders. So I guess we're just going to have to be disciplined, maybe using technology like we're doing today with virtual interviews, conference calls, and just make sure that we get the participation rates up. Correct?
Correct. We staff has talked with our communications department, in particular Morrisville, and we're going to implement a couple of old school methods. We're going to create some signs that, like a thermometer sign, that shows progress of our percentage, our response rate. So people can drive past that and see how we're doing, and certainly through social media or safe social distancing, challenge your friends, family, and neighbors to complete the form, and just emphasize how easy it is. Again, complete it online. Avoid having the census worker come knocking on your door. And the census worker will only knock on your door if you have not completed the form. So they do have a list. They've sworn an oath. So when they come knock on your door and ask the questions, they are also sworn to confidentiality. But that's why we are, as staff, have really been encouraging complete it online. Or the other option is you can complete the paper form and mail it back. That's certainly an option. And the Census Bureau still does offer completing your census form via telephone. So you can do
Okay.
that as well.
Okay. Well, you've laid it all. I think you've really covered. If there's any questions I've missed, you can always email Rodney at the Town of Morrisville website. And you can go to the Wake County site. Is there any parting remarks or anything, or you think we've covered it all today, Rodney?
We've covered a lot. It is a lot, but again, just a couple of wrap up. It is completing your census form is safe and secure. It's easy. You do it online. It takes about 10 minutes. And again, you do not have to be a citizen, and everyone counts.
Okay. Well, we want to really thank you all for Rodney, for all that you do and for taking on this role of leading our census efforts for our town of Morrisville, along with all of your colleagues and those on the Wake County Complete Counts Commission. And I want to thank Councilmember Garamella for helping us on the international subcommittee with Jeannie Chang, who co-chairs that with him. And I just want to wish everyone safety. Just a quick reminder, the town of Morrisville has launched our Reconnect Morrisville program. So in line with Governor's Phase 1 opening, we're planning to have Town Hall open by the 18th, and I think staff operating at 50%. By July 4th weekend, hopefully we'll be relatively opened up with everything open. All the parks are open now, but the playgrounds and fitness stations aren't open yet. Our advisory committees hopefully will meet at the end of May. And hopefully the Morrisville Aquatic Center will be done by July. But all of this is conditioned upon whether we meet the benchmarks, which is the decline of positive cases over a 14-day period. So I guess I'm doing so much COVID updates that I'm getting all this stuff in my memory. But we're leaving through different times, and I just want to wish you, Rodney, safety, and I want to wish everyone a good week, and we'll be back next week for our Memorial Day edition. So thank you so much for listening to Mirchi's Leaders and Legends, our Triangle Region's largest South Asia radio station, and thank you so much. We'll be back next week.
Thank you, Steve. Stay safe.
Be safe. Thank you, sir.